Okay. Kathy has asked that I give some memories of Grandpa Eldon Clark. I felt so grateful as a child to grow up in our neighborhood. At the time, I was just a young girl, under 10. It was World War II, and many of the neighbors, many of the men in the neighborhood had been in the service. In fact, one of them was killed, didn't come home, and every day his dog would go out and look up the street. His name was Glenn Powell, and his dog would go out and look up the street to see if Glenn would be coming home. But of course he never did. Thankfully, all of the others, including my 2 brothers, came home. I don't recall the year, but Eldon was in the service, and he was expected home on a certain day and a time of day, and his wife Helen had told us in the neighborhood that he was coming home and when he was coming home. So I thought, oh, that's so exciting. That's just so wonderful, because they lived just 2 houses down the street from us. And I would go out every few minutes and look out from our yard, the sidewalk, out to the sidewalk, and look up the street to see if he was coming, because they had to be dropped off by a bus on State Street in Lehigh at the time with all of their gear and everything they had with them, and walk from State Street down to their home. I don't know how many times I dashed out to see if he was coming down the street in his uniform with all of his gear. But finally, I went out, and Helen was down a couple of houses doing the same thing. But I went out, looked up the street, and there he was. And it was, as I even tell this story, I have a feeling that it's hard to express, but I have duck bumps, because I remember how excited I was to know that he was coming home and they would finally be together again. Well, it just happened that Helen came out, and she waited, and he kept coming, and they saw each other, and they met in front of our house. And I got to see them embrace and kiss for the first time in many, many months, who knows how long. It was one of the happiest memories and happiest experiences I had as a child. And I'll be eternally grateful for Helen and Eldon Clark and the wonderful example and family they were in my life. I was also privileged to tend their children. And what a great memory that was. Very good young people.